Hello, fellow scholars and purveyors of morbid curiosities alike. I'm Dr. Caleb, joined by the most able-bodied man himself, Dr. Zach. And this is SCPod. Zach, how do you feel about male models?
I'm fine with them. How do you feel about male models?
Right, fair enough. How are you today?
Answer the question.
I feel like they are the most looked down upon. I don't know, man. I really like Zoolander.
Yeah.
There have been multiple jobs that I've worked where I reinvent myself, and the way I reinvent myself is that I am just the biggest fan of Zoolander that's ever existed.
It's not reinventing yourself. It's just if it's just true across all of them.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's just liking a movie.
Zach, how are you?
I'm alright. How are you?
I'd say it's pretty good. It's sunny out.
It is sunny out.
It's roughly Easter, I think.
We
not to date when this episode is recorded.
I'll do it. It is in fact Easter.
And yeah, it was interesting because there was not a lot of people running around the Foundation today, and then I guess Jesus ended his TED Talk, and then everybody started flooding back in.
Wait, was Jesus giving a TED Talk or a TEDx talk?
What's the difference?
One of them is legitimate, and one literally anyone can do.
I'm not sure if we should blasphemize blasphemies. What's the word I'm trying to say, Zach?
Well, regardless of what you're trying to say, the sentiment is that we're going to be doing that this entire season anyway. So we might as well try to come up with some good zingers.
That's true.
It's okay to go to hell if you're really funny.
So, Zach, let me lay the question to you. What is your favorite depiction of Jesus Christ?
In
media.
In media.
Because for me, it's easily the skate videos where somebody makes their character look like Jesus and shred. It just tickles me pink.
I think my favorite one is there's one in Dogma where it's like this giant cartoon Jesus that has finger gunsing. But yeah, it looks like it's like a rubber hose Jesus.
That's good.
And he's like, Jesus loves you. And he's just winking and finger gunsing.
I used to have this GIF, because I would save GIFs as reaction images. This before phones had the capability and stuff like that. I would save them to my Chrome desktop, and I saved this one, and it was just somebody pouring syrup over a statue of a baby Jesus, and it would zoom in and be like, "Sweet baby Jesus."
That's pretty good.
And I think about that sometimes. All right, Zach, let's just move on and maybe talk about SCPs here on our SCP podcast.
I mean, we barely do that.
Yeah. I just got done editing the Eldritch Antarctic Part 2. And Zach, I'm saying this on the air so that the audience can also hold you responsible. You need to go back and listen to that episode.
Which part?
The Part 2.
Okay.
Specifically, the one that we say, be genticle.
Yeah, that was stupid. Oh, Caleb, fair warning, I don't have Pringles, but I do have Cheez-Its.
Well, I got nothing for you. I will hear you munch on them in post, I guess. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, this SCP starts off with an email. Before we get anywhere into it, this is from a Dr. Blank D. Blank Blank to Director Maria Jones, Record Keeping and Information Security Administration. Subject, revision of SCP-076 SCP file. That seems a little redundant. I have to go on record as saying that I seriously object to the proposed revisions of the SCP-076 Special Containment Procedures file. I know that redact all important stuff already claims it's a security risk, but you and I both know that it's just top brass trying to sweep their biggest and most embarrassing mistake ever under the damn rug. Omega 7 happened. It existed. Those people died because you screwed up, and you can't change that, no matter how hard you try to hide it. For God's sake, man, those people guarding him deserve to know exactly what he is and what he did. What we did. How we fucked up, so they'll know better.
That's ominous. Anyway,
Yeah.
SCP-076. Object Class, Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Containment Area 25B is to be located 200 meters below sea level, tunneled out of solid bedrock in seismologically stable area. Sole access to the containment facility is to be through a vertical elevator shaft separated every 50 meters with a reinforced blast door, constructed of 20 centimeter thick material shielding. Elevator shaft should be flooded with seawater when not in use. Containment Area 25B is to be constructed with the following components: an outer security perimeter against outside threats, staffed by security personnel trained in close quarters battle and counter-intrusion tactics. An administrative and support area, ASA, consisting of support facilities and living quarters for on-site personnel. A primary containment zone, PCZ, consisting of 7 meter cube encased in 1.5 meters of reinforced material. PCZ is to be designed to be flooded and drained as needed, and shouldn't remain filled with seawater unless access to the contents is required. And a 150 meter killing corridor, which is to be the sole access to the PCZ from the ASA, including water, power, drainage, and ventilation lines. The walls and floor of the corridor are to be reinforced in a similar manner to the PCZ, with the addition of an electrical deterrent system capable of delivering a 20,000 volt shock. A security station located at the entrance to the killing corridor is to be staffed by no fewer than three armed security personnel on watch at any one time. Armament is to include, but not limited to, at least one blank CIW system on a pintle mount with a clear line of sight down the corridor, with a plexiglass screen to protect the operator from thrown weapons. In the event of a full breach, all on-site staff are to proceed immediately to the closest security station for weapons and armor distribution. Staff will remain on Alert Condition 1 until SCP-076-2 is to be confirmed neutralized. Should 90 minutes pass after declaration of a full breach without a stand-down order being given by a Level 4 or higher personnel, final contingency measures will be activated, flooding the entire facility in seawater and sealing off access shaft for a minimum of 24 hours before retrieval is attempted. This will, by necessity, result in the deaths of all on-site staff.
Description: SCP-076 consists of two components: a stone cube, SCP-076-1, and a humanoid entity contained within, 076-2. 076-1 is a 3-meter cube made of black speckled metamorphic stone. All surfaces outside and within 076-1 are covered in deeply engraved patterns corresponding to known civilizations. Radioisotope analysis indicates that the object is approximately 10,000 years old. A door is located on one side, sealed with a lock 0.5 meters in width, surrounded by 20 smaller locks in a circular pattern. As of yet, none of the keys have been found, making the door impossible to lock once closed. Interior temperature is approximately 93 Kelvin and cannot be altered by any means, internal or external. Directly in the center of the room is a 2 meter tall stone coffin, held in place and sealed shut by several chains of unknown make and substance, which are attached to the inner corners of 076-1. 076-2 resembles a lean Semitic human male in his late 20s. Hair is black and eyes are gray. Skin tone olive. Subject is 1.96 meters in height and 81.65 kilograms in weight. Numerous tattoos depicting arcane and occult iconography are present all over the body, mostly in the form of leering demonic faces, and ranges from subtle to openly ostentatious. Subject, when encased inside 076-1, is technically dead.
That's kind of dead.
However, occasionally, 076-2 will awaken, effectively reanimating, complete with all vital processes needed to sustain a living human being. Subject will then attempt to leave 076-1. If successful, subject will enter a trance state and seek out the nearest human being, ignoring all other living things in the process. Upon coming in contact with living humans, 076-2 will enter a rage state in which it will attempt to engage and kill all humans being encountered. To date, only the subject's death has been shown to be effective in ending these rampages. Terminating 076-2 is often problematic due to its significant physical abilities. Subject has superhuman strength and speed, and although not invulnerable, has shown remarkable ability to ignore pain and shock, pressing on despite what would have been debilitating wounds in normal humans. Prior encounters have shown that SCP-076-2 has the ability to, among other things, rip through a reinforced steel security door over the course of 4 minutes of sustained assault, clear over 64 meters of distance in under 3 seconds, take multiple 50 caliber BMG rounds to the head and survive for several minutes to continue killing, despite severe damage to the cerebellum, swat handgun and assault rifle caliber bullets out of the air with a length of steel rebar, survive for over 1 hour deprived of oxygen before finally asphyxiating. 076-2's most unusual ability, however, is its ability to apparently materialize bladed weapons out of nowhere. Slow motion video footage reveals that the blades in question are actually pulled from a miniature dimensional rift described as a small hole in space. Where this portal leads to is unknown, as is how 076-2 is capable of generating said rifts. Footage of the blades in question shows them to be made out of completely non-reflective black material, appearing as a black void in space. As the blades rapidly vanish after leaving the subject's possession, no structural analysis is possible at this time. SCP-076-2 has been effectively killed several times in various manners, such as sustained fire from multiple heavy caliber machine guns, asphyxiation, crushed beneath a 13.6 metric ton piece of elevator equipment for use on 076-1, cremation through the use of a thermate TH3 grenade placed directly inside 076-2's open chest cavity. During the worst breach to date, Containment Area 25, which previously housed 076, was forced to detonate its on-site warhead as a last attempt to contain 076-2 while it was attempting to escape, resulting in total destruction of the site and all on-site personnel. 076-1 survived. Upon death, 076-2's remain will putrefy rapidly until reduced to dust. 076-1 and the coffin within will then slam shut with great force, and the lock will rotate, sealing it shut. 076-2 will then reform within the coffin, a process taking anywhere from 6 hours to 25 years. What posthumous analysis of 076-2 exists shows that it has an internal system highly different from our own documented within data expunged.
And then there is some additional notes here at the bottom. SCP-076 was found in Mongolia in the 1800s by an archaeologist from England. All members of the expedition were subsequently killed on the return voyage home. SCP-076 was recovered from the ship by the Society, one of the organizations that later emerged into the modern Global Occult Coalition, and placed on display in their inner sanctum. SCP-076 remained in storage for a number of years until -2 became active and escaped. The reason for 076's activation is currently unknown, but it was at this point that the keys to the outer shell were lost. A massive manhunt lasting over three years, and a really inconvenient censored spot, thanks, took place until -2 was incapacitated by someone unknown, killing it and causing it to reform inside -1, by then retrieved and secured by members and agents of the SCP Foundation. Subject was in custody for three more years under constant supervision, and was terminated whenever it became active, although it occasionally was able to escape for short periods of time, often due to security breaches caused by attacks from other organizations. The Foundation's death toll due to this is innumerable. After the last incident, the current procedures regarding 076 were implemented, although they are upgraded regularly with the increase in technological standards. There is an addendum about what happened with Mobile Task Force Omega-7 regarding a weird run-in with 682, but we're not going to read it.
Yeah, we skimmed it, and look, we all love fanfic here. I have been on record of talking about my favorite Plague Doctor hentai, but there is no hentai involved, which is weird because it's a lizard, but I'll tell the audience this: when we get to 1,000 subscribers, we will cover this after we cover 682. Now, Zach, I know you're not looking forward to that, and what I will say to that is we will not ever cover 682.
Alright.
So we'll never have to deliver on that promise.
I figure if we get to 1,000 subscribers, we'll read some weird fanfiction.
Oh, what if we actually go and find Plague Doctor hentai 049 hentai and we read that?
We would release it as a Patreon.
That's what we should have done for our. That's what we should have done for our April Fool's joke.
Yeah, well, so it goes. Bringing it back for a second, Abel is clearly a Dark Souls style undead.
Oh, you know what? That's a really good parallel. I like that. I like that you took this seriously enough to come to that, because I have no thoughts, just memes here.
Well, it's just first of all, let's get it out of the way. Yes, he's a literal edgelord. I'm sure there is multiple stories about him coming to ultimate victory by embracing the power of friendship. But yeah,
there's got to be a little girl that can calm him down.
There has to be a little girl that calm him down. Where is my Inuyasha style anime about Abel?
Isn't that just Inuyasha?
That might just be Inuyasha. But yeah, that's the first thing that kind of just jumped out at me when we read that segment, is that this is kind of. Do you think he gets the "you died" message whenever he bites it? And he just kind of wakes up.
All I'm saying is he needs to upgrade his hardware if it's taking him 25 years to go through the load screen.
Yeah, get good, Abel. The other thing I'm kind of interested about is that when he reactivates or reawakens, the first thing he does is seek out another human being. Seek out a human, right?
Yeah.
But when he sees a human, he immediately goes into kill mode, right?
Right.
So I think it's pretty safe to assume that this thing's primary function is to kill people.
Yeah. I think we talked about it during the Kane episode, but I'm not very familiar with the religious aspect of this.
It is entirely Abel... No, it is entirely incongruent. It has nothing to do with it.
Okay, so Abel is not the one that bashed Kane in. It's the other way around. Kane bashed Abel in.
Yes.
Okay,
which
so
makes
what the fuck?
which makes this really hard to parse, and it makes me wonder if
Because
they
like,
are.
okay, if it was like that, it would make sense. Because if he committed the first murder and then is like cursed to like have to kill every time that he's reawakened, okay, that's interesting at least. But like, yeah, this.
So I mean, there's a couple of like interesting extrapolations we can take from this now that we've read both of them. And so we have a case where Kane is. Sorry, I dropped a dice I was playing with, and I'm clearly more invested in that than talking about Abel. So Cain was the first murderer and was punished by God to roam the world and then not be harmed because that's the whole thing about his mark of Cain, right? Abel
Sure.
was, if I'm recalling right, was like clearly the favored son of the two, and that's one of the main reasons why Cain was jealous of Abel was of this perceived favorableness over him. It was jealousy. But when you look at this, there's a couple of things where either A, the Bible is full of lies and something isn't amiss, or something changed in the intervening 10,000 years, or there's something we're not getting, either in terms of lost lore in the intervening 10 millennia. But I'm not sure why Abel, is a killing machine.
Yeah, even if it's something where like, okay, these guys have nothing to do with the religious texts or anything like that, and it's just like we named them based off of like as like a reference to it. Like, why are we referencing it, and why is it seemingly swapped?
One thing I kind of did pick up on though is that on the -1 sarcophagus, for lack of a better term, we noticed like with the locks the way they are and inscriptions that they're clearly like some sort of like technology from a time where it shouldn't exist, right?
Right.
And we noticed something similar with the certain kind of bronze on Cain. And
right,
so
right.
it could be related to that technology could be related to some sort of civilization that was prominent at the time. The only thing I could be grasping at straws is that it makes me feel like there might be some weird like not Davite connection there because like the Davites were extant near that time in the Caucasus, which is relatively near where these people would have been, if that is indeed near the Levant. I mean, it's not super close, but it's relatively nearby, especially if you're a super advanced technological civilization like the Davites or have super blood magic. So I wonder if they're connected somehow.
Well, there's a lot of different things because like, you know, I don't subscribe to it whatsoever, but there are so many like ancient astronaut theories and stuff like that too, or you know, there's the crackpot known as Graham Hancock, who like subscribes to this idea of like a world-spanning like civilization that was wiped out at the end of the last ice age.
Oh yeah,
and like that could be something like that too.
And maybe, but clearly
again, I don't subscribe to any of these thoughts, but like, you know, we're talking about a guy who nothing personal kids you like without prejudice. I don't know. I think a globe spanning empire is like pretty tame compared to the stuff that we've covered on this show.
It wouldn't be the silliest thing that we talked about that week.
Yeah.
But yeah, what we do know for sure is that there is a process of reanimation, activation, and then violence, and then deactivation with the -2 entity rapidly decaying, turning to dust, and then responding at the bonfire that is -1.
You know, it also kind of reminds me of what's the move that the Richters can use in Castlevania? that like pulls the vampires into a coffin?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay, fair enough. There's like a thing that like the Richters can do in Castlevania where they like
The
pull a
Belmonts?
vampire into a coffin and then like. Did I say Richters?
You said
Yeah,
Richter
it's the
several
Belmonts.
times. You said it several times.
Yeah. Oh no. Alright. I'm putting on my clown makeup. Yeah, so the Belmonts have like a thing that's like passed down. It's part of like their vampire hunting stuff, but it basically is like a thing where you use like the moon's power against the vampires or something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, it kind of just reminds me of that because it pulls them into like a chained coffin when they do it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of wondering because like we clearly have something. We have a seek and destroy situation on our hand with what the -2 entity seems to be programmed to do, for lack of a better word. And so I mean, like, what is the goal here? Was it like a super soldier you would send on like offensive missions, or was it meant more like a guardian role?
It's literally just Dio.
It's me, Dio. But no, I mean, like, I feel that it's a valid question of like, so why? Not, even aside from like other questions like of a provenance, but like, why does it do the thing it does?
Here's what's so infuriating to me. Like, obviously, I'm having a hard time taking this as seriously as I can because, like, there's just some grade A bullshit going on in this article. But
Oh yeah.
The fact that Kane, when asked about Abel, was like, just don't bring us near each other. And that's the only thing that we get about those two. I mean, maybe there's some stuff in this fan fiction about Addendum 076-2, but like the fact that is the only, like, we just know not to put these two, like, they're antimatter and matter, and we can't put them next to each other. Like, why? Why can't we get something about that? There's got to be some sort of information about the motivations behind this, or something like that.
I think that there is. I think they're just confined to tales, which can vary from timeline to timeline. But I don't think we have anything. I don't think we have anything in like actual in like article documentation.
It's just like I don't know. When we covered the trees, right? We're like, okay, what are the connections here? Or when we talked about Zach Your Leg and sun body integrity disorder or whatever, like we're like, okay, what is the connection here? Like, how are we connected? We have two things that are so obviously connected, and the articles are just like, here's a passing footnote about this guy.
Yeah, and it's interesting that I'm the one taking this more seriously, considering that I've definitely been drinking. It's like clearly, but I think maybe like one difference is that like I don't know about the 076-2, but like 073 is at least aware and sentient, and so is like choosing to not elaborate on it, so that may be one reason why. Like, it doesn't talk about it because it doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And then 076-2 is seemingly uninterested in conversating, aside from maybe some niche cases, but at least according to the main article it's in, isn't really communicative.
Yeah, it's you know, and I'm sure that there's something to be said about like the like symbolism and the what did it say on the or on the cube itself? Engraved patterns corresponding to no known civilizations. There's got to be something going on. This is obviously some sort of ritual that's happening, or a curse that was placed upon the being known as Abel.
Yeah, that's kind of why that's how I was kind of reaching towards, like, maybe Davite.
Yeah, I think if this is boiled down to being just him by himself, I think that this is a little bit cool, because it's like, okay, why is this guy cursed? Like, why is this stuff. Like, there's a direction that you can take this. The fact that it is connected to Kane and later the Gate Guardian, it's like, okay, where is all this stuff coming in now? And, you know, maybe that mystery is solved when we read the Gate Guardian. But I think as a standalone piece, this guy obviously is like an anime OC. But, like, I think that the coffin and the tomb, the cube that he is in, adds a little bit of nuance to this that I think is actually kind of interesting. I don't care about the guy himself at all. Like, he's whatever. But the reanimating and this seemingly, I mean, almost Scarlet King-esque, like, ritual of, like, chains and locks and all this other stuff is, like, I think it's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's more of a thing here as opposed to, like, what if a dude?
Right.
Which is what we got mostly with 073, but not by much. I think what we have here is, like, a clear, like, physical threat in the form of Dash 2. But it seems like even with great effort, he can definitely go down. He doesn't seem to be like he doesn't have the 682 problem of like becomes immune to previous thing that killed him.
Right.
And so I mean we have that going for us. But we have a lot of questions in terms of like why he does the things he does. And maybe specific provenance. I'm not sure why we're calling either of them Kane or Abel.
Right. This kind of reminds me of like a quest in a video game almost, where like you have to bring the researcher over to like scan and research the cube while it's like spawning enemies. And only this is like you have to protect your researcher while this indomitable force is ready to impale you upon its black hole sword.
Right, it's just like avoid this tyrant enemy.
Yeah. So, Zach, I want to ask you, how do you feel about underwater research stations as like a trope in a sci-fi setting?
I'm fine for them as a trope, but if someone wanted to try and do them in real life, there are, I think, there's at least one actual, like, publicly known underwater research station off the coast of Florida, but it's only like 30 feet down. Honestly, I feel like they are a gigantic waste of money.
Yeah, I tend to actually like really like the setting of like underwater research station, especially because it's just like the impending horror of like fighting against Mother Nature and like all that pressure at the bottom of the Mariana Trench or whatever, and like the only thing protecting you is just like this glass. I don't know. I really like that as a setting for like stories and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is that thing where if you're sufficiently below the surface of the water, you might as well be in space in terms of environmental hazard and like the amount of like sheer mechanics it takes to keep you alive and not dead, but also the logistical problems of keeping you like fed, not frozen, and all of that. I mean, if you're thinking about like extreme remote places to hide something or someone away from other things, sure, but at that rate, you mean you're talking about expenses that would. I make you ask the question: why didn't we just launch this thing into orbit or out of orbit and out of geosynchronous orbit? Out of geosynchronicity. And you know. What I'm guessing is like what I'm saying, Dr. Caleb, is like whenever we have like an SCP that is like an actual problem, why don't we just launch it into fucking space?
Right, just pull a World War Hulk and just like fucking send it out. Yeah, it's somebody else's problem now.
Right, just don't send it towards anything in particular.
Right. The problem is there is a battle cruiser orbiting Jupiter currently, and I don't think that we want to give it more recruits.
Yeah, but
So we send it the other way. We send it into the sun. Parry this, you filthy casual.
Right, dodge this. How's that iframe working there for you? God. It's... Yeah, but like I'm not really sure, again, why either of them are... Aside from, like, allegedly Semitic origins, Semitic just being, like, from, like, the Eastern Mediterranean area, like, I'm not sure why we're calling them Cain or Abel. Like, in the article, there's not even anything allegedly, like, naming this thing as Abel.
Okay, here's my crackpot theory that I came up with in the last 4 seconds. What if the common like Bible story of Cain and Abel is like rewritten as like a mimetic hazard that like the Foundation and like the global occult coalition and all that other stuff, like they put it together to reverse the roles so that like there isn't as much knowledge about these guys. You know, what if the whole point is that it is misleading?
I mean, there's always a non-zero chance, but at that point, then why have it be known at all?
Right. Why not just take that story out of the Bible?
Why not just take the story out of the Bible? I mean, we have the amnestics. We could do it.
That's true. We have enough fucking Leviathan slime to... I don't know. Actually, do we have that much?
Well, I mean, it's the Cave Johnson solution. Of if we don't have enough in this in this universe, we can steal some from the other universes.
That's fair. Tune in next week when we cover David, and then the week after that we'll cover Goliath.
Yeah, and then following that we'll do our season finale on King Solomon.
Yeah. Actually, we're just gonna about face and just cover Gilgamesh.
And then we pull another switch Uno reverse and just talk about Jesus again.
There we go.
But yeah, I'm done.
All right, Zach. Well,
I'm done. We can be done with this now.
Yeah. Yeah. I clowned on this guy quite a bit. Fan of his cube, his tungsten cube he's got going on.
I'm a fan of his cube.
Yeah. And that's about it. Zach, where can people find you?
They can find me over on my blog of www.makeawritingcheck.blogspot.com, which I normally update twice a month, but as of the time of recording, is going to be undergoing its 4th birthday, and so there's going to be 3 or 4 unique pieces up there. Some recent work that I'm kind of proud of, so go take a look there. You can buy my collection of short stories wherever you buy ebooks, Tales from Port Astor. And that's currently where people can find me. They can also follow me on Blue Sky at Roll for Writing.
Nice. And everybody who has made it this far into the video, I know that we clowned upon your favorite OC, but please go wish Roll for Writing, the blog, a happy birthday in the comments. I will screenshot all of them and send them to Zach, and you can torment him. This could be your payback for us clowning on your OC, is by wishing his writing blog a happy birthday.
Please don't.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Calica1738, as well on YouTube at Calica, where I have been uploading a bunch of new content, including a new podcast called The Friendly Fire Show, which I do with the artist who does all of our thumbnails now. That would be Braxton. And it's a good old time over there. You can find the podcast if you would like to yell at us about something. I'm the only one that sees it, though. So, but you can follow us on Twitter, specifically on Twitter. Zach won't see it. at SCPod_cast. You can follow us on Instagram at SCPod.cast. You can follow us on Blue Sky at SCPod. We're available on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Pandora, as well as Podcast Addict. And I always say this at the end of every episode, but please remember to do all the shill things. Push us in the algorithm. Interact with the video any way you can. Specifically liking and rating and following, subscribing, commenting, all those things. There's a reason why YouTubers often try to bait their audiences into doing stuff. It does push us into the algorithm, let other people find us, and yeah, it's just a great way to stay in shape. But yeah, like I said earlier, next week we will be covering the story of David and Goliath. And yeah, Zach, what are we covering next week?
Surgeon crabs?
Surgeon crabs! I love crabs, Zach.
I know.
And it can't, I don't know, I guess it could be worse. We have a lost episode about crabs, so, you know, it could be worse than anime OCs. But yeah, in the meantime, Zach, what biblical stories do you have for us to send us off with?
Stay tuned for Insulation Repair, the Blood God Way.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.